Good to be back again. Another day, another beautiful conversation. Feeling a conversation. Beautiful, elegant conversation. It may not seem that way sometimes, but it is. Conversation gets the energy stirring. That's why I've said before that really the conversation isn't with me. It's with yourself. It gets energy moving. Allows you to feel into things, to open up a little bit, to allow the nos and the knowingness to come in. The beautiful thing. Well, I am that I am, an embodied master in service. Here to have a conversation today. I was going to talk today about resistance, limitations. I think I've talked a little bit about the way I see your vibration, low vibration versus high vibrations. I don't really see a verse. It's not a battle, it's not a conflict, it's just what is. It's physics. I've said I see lower vibration as something you have to put more energy in, and you get less back. In other words, it has resistance. And resistance causes limitation. I think I've used the analogy, it's like an airplane. As it flies through the air, the faster it goes, the denser air becomes. It becomes almost like water. You have to keep putting more energy from the engines to keep the airplane in the air, because it gets more resistance. You can see it the same way. If you were to hit water at a high velocity, water would feel like concrete when you hit it. The more energy, the more impact, the more dense it becomes, the more resistance it becomes. It's physics. You can say it's metaphysics, it's physics, it's quantum physics. It's just how this reality works. It's not good, it's not bad. You could say we're living in a higher vibrational time period than our ancestors did, because it's easier, it has less resistance. I know I can hear some people chirping and say, but. No, feel into it. Say 1,000 years ago, I wanted to go from here to the other side of the planet. Let's say from the United States to the center of China. That would take an incredible amount of energy. It'd be almost impossible. There was no airplanes, there was no cars, there was no roads, no steamships, no boats. You had rafts, maybe early sailing vessels. It would take a lot of energy and a lot of effort to get to the other side of the planet. Now, if I want to do it, I go, as long as I have the funds, the abundance to do so, I can go online, order me a plane ticket, then order me a Uber driver to come pick me up, take me to the airport, get on a plane, spend, it's still probably 12, so I don't know how long it takes to get there, probably about 12, 14 hours. The other side, fly to the other side of the plane. You can get there within 24 hours if you really wanted to. How long would that take 1,000 years ago? Just to cross one of the seas. Then you have to go through woods, jungles, whatever. There's a lot of resistance. Where we're going to now is less and less resistance. Things are going to become easier to do. You can say some people want to go to a higher plane of existence. That's not really what we're doing here. We're not trying to go to a higher plane of existence. We're merging the realms together. We're bringing everything into a singularity. You can say we're trying to have our cake and eat it too. Because say in the other realms, you can have a cake. piece of cake. But it's not physical. In a way, it's not. It's still real. It's actually quite. You could say it's more real than it is here, but it's not physical. You can have a sensation of cutting a cake. You can have a sensation of eating a cake, but it's not as visceral. It's not as physical. And the cake, you can keep eating the cake, and the cake will just keep coming back. You can just, another slice of cake. It'll just appear and be there. That's kind of a higher vibrational realm. You can say it's kind of like your imaginations. Maybe that's where you're going. A personal, private, higher realm. Well, in the physical, you have a slice of cake. If you eat it, it's gone. Then you have to go to a lot of effort and work to make a new slice of cake. You have to get the eggs. You have to get the flours. Maybe you have to get the chickens to get the eggs. It takes time. It takes work. You got to have an oven. If you don't have an oven, you got to make one. It takes a lot of effort to get another piece of cake. A lot of resistance. It just doesn't appear. Just magically, there it is. It has a limitation to it. We're trying to merge those two realities together. Low vibration and high vibration. Because there's a resistance there. Because they're very different in the way they work. So we want to come to the point where the cake can just appear on this planet. It's possible. Didn't Jesus turn water into wine? It is possible. But it's going to take time. But we're going step by step. In experiencing, having things come quicker. Because, go back to our 1,000-year analogy. 1,000 years ago, if you wanted eggs, if you wanted a steak or anything, you had to go get a cow, cut it up, butcher it, go get some chicken, wait for them to lay the eggs, and get it. Now I just get in my car and I drive to Walmart. There's a lot less resistance. There's a lot more choices as well. I can get fruits and vegetables that aren't native to the area I'm in. There's coming less and less resistance. You can say that's how you can tell the world is becoming more high vibrational. As there's less and less resistance. Things become quicker. Of course, and that's all because of technology. But technology is just energy. And what does energy do? It follows consciousness. It reflects consciousness. It mirrors consciousness. Energy is not consciousness, but it comes from consciousness. Consciousness radiates, energy comes into being, and comes back in to serve. So the fact that you're seeing things being quicker, having less resistance in certain areas, is a sign of a higher vibration, of a larger consciousness on the planet. Even at times it's difficult for the human to see it. That's why I'm very excited about what's coming next, about artificial intelligence. And AI, artificial intelligence, robotics, energy solutions of the future. Because everything's falling consciousness. So you have to assume, I realize consciousness is gone here, so I also realize that these things have to come. They have to follow it. They have to mirror the consciousness that is actually on the planet. It's very simple. Now the thing is, sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. Spam. Let me do that real quick so we don't get interrupted. Power off. A distraction. I love a distraction. It gets you out of your head. It takes your focus from here to there really quickly. You know, if you ever get caught in your head, a good distraction, just pull yourself right out. A master is a master of distractions. Say, silly mind, look at that while I go do this. So we don't have to think about things too much. Oh, come back to that deep, beautiful breath. But if you go into this reality, this new coming of energies, without consciousness, it can hurt. It can cause more turbulence, more restriction, more limitations. Because AI is a beautiful thing. If you use it with consciousness, it will do beautiful things. If you do it without consciousness and old energy, it can be a mess. Let's use right now with the early artificial intelligence and things like DALL-E and Mid-Journey, which are artificial intelligence used for creating art. Let's take those for how you can misuse those. Just feel into it. And people are going to do it. Some already are. So say I wanted to make money. I'm looking at these technologies and I want to make quick, easy money. There's easy ways to do it. I'm about to tell you how, so I guess if you're unconscious, this will be a good video for you. I'm not suggesting that you do this. I would not. Because remember, whatever energy you give out is what you're going to get back in. Okay. So say that chatbot GP, I forget what it's called. This is the new chatbot that's going around. It's the craze at the moment. It's exciting. You could go to that chatbot and say, hey, I want you to make me a message in the style of a Palladian channeling. So some of you may be familiar with channeling. There's lots of people who do it. Some we won't get into today. I don't care for. But we'll say there's people who do it. Say you could go to there and say, write me a channeled message from the Palladians about a certain topic. Something sensational. And it'll write you, say how long you want this to be. So say write a 6-page speech or whatever. You take that. Oh, great! You have this speech. Because what the chatbot's going to do, it's going to look at all the different Palladian channels it can find online. It'll even check YouTube. So it'll check the voice. Because even you can turn the closed captions on this video, they're going to come up. My voice, all the words are being captured within it. So even that data will go into the chatbot. It will use it. Oh, it's collecting information from everywhere. I don't think it's really a bad thing myself. More information, the better. The more accurate and more it can do. But so it'll take it'll listen to all the videos, it'll look at all the articles, all the online postings, and it'll take it and it'll drag it and it'll recreate a new, never before seen channeling from the Palladians, taking bits and pieces from all these different places. So you can take that, and you can take that and put it into another artificial intelligence, a text-to-speech. There you go. Put that in text-to-speech, and then give it a voice. You put that into a video. Then you go to something like a Mid-Journey or a DALL-E, and you put in some prompts and tell it, I need an image of Palladians. And you have some pictures come up. Put those pictures into your computer along with the text-to-speech and this fabricated channeling, and you got a video. It took very little effort, very little work. Then you put that on YouTube. You start doing that. Do that every day. It doesn't take much work. You can spend 30 minutes every day just doing that. You get these videos. Very little effort, very little energy put into it. And if you're the type of person who would do this, you're probably doing it because it's supply and demand. You think that people out there are crazy for listening to these channelings, and you just considered, oh, well, I'm giving them what they want, and they're fake anyways, so I'm just going to make fake ones and give it to them, and not hurt anybody. They already believe this bullshit anyways. And there you go. You have a whole channel based on this Palladian channeling. You get enough of those, get enough views on them, people coming to them, and you start making money with very little effort, very little work. That's how you could use it unconsciously. To fool, to trick people, to manipulate them into you making money from ad revenues. If you don't think people aren't already doing that, well, maybe you're the gullible one. Some people love to make money. They just see it as supply and demand. They don't see it as good or bad. They just see it like, well, people want this bullshit, I'm going to give it to them. That's how they see reality. I'm not saying all channels are fake or anything, but discernment, human discernment sometimes isn't very good. As long as it sounds pretty, they'll listen to it. As long as it doesn't have a lot of friction into what they believe, they'll listen to it. But that's where we're going. If things like that are going to be easier to create. They're already talking about kids are going to be able to cheat on college exams. Or college, term papers. You can just go in there and say, I need a term paper on this subject. Give it the specifics of what your teacher asked for. There you go, print it up. Teacher doesn't know if it's you wrote it or the computer wrote it. It's interesting times. Oh, you can even, for that video purposes, you can even go to one of these artificial intelligence that create music now and have it create some background music for your video. It's all quite simple. As long as you know how to use a computer, you're fine. You could make a living doing that. I wouldn't suggest it. The energies are going to come bite you in the ass at some point. Because if your intention is to deceive people, you're going to be deceived. Because you get what you receive what you give. There's always a giving. There's always a receiving. So I would not suggest it. But it happens. Yeah, this world's all about density, all about physicalness, resistance, limitations. As you can say, we master limitations. We master the limitations of energy, and to understand energy, how to use it to get rid of limitations, how to expand this reality in a way. Because you say, I go back to the cake, and have your cake and eat it too. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to have the physical cake and have the high vibrational this at the same time. To have both in the same reality. I'm trying to think of a good word to use for that. It's perpetualness, this unending. Because you can say the highest vibration has no resistance in it whatsoever. You can say the highest vibration we've ever created was oneness. That's why a lot of people want to go back to it. There was no resistance in oneness. Because there was undifferentiated. There was no me or you. There was no complications. But as soon as separation happened, we left oneness. That caused the first limitation. That caused the first restriction. Because now there's a you and there's a me. I want to do this. No, I want to do that. Restriction. We're not just all flowing together anymore. You can see how that could cause to a being who's not used to that, who has no experience in that, has no wisdom in that yet. It's the first time. It's very childlike. How that could cause a little bit of a turbulence. Just this slight difference, this slight resistance, caused a little bit of a kerfuffle. Because you could say the ego that was birthed when we came out of oneness, the identity, the original I'm separate. The ego is an invention in a way. It's because it comes to a point where it's no longer the ego; it becomes the we-go, like the royal we, the sovereign we. It becomes multidimensional. Ooh, a lot of rabbit holes to go down. Part of me wants to go down all of them. But I'm like, let's keep it a little bit simpler today. We don't want to go down all of these rabbit holes. The video would be very long. We'll just say there's rabbit holes to go down. Feel into them. We'll get into them and more into other videos. But that was the first resistance. So you went from this realm to this realm. You could say it's why people try to put the other realms into a list of vibrations: high, fast moving, less resistance, more resistance, more resistance, more resistance. As you go down, you just have more resistance. You become more physical till you come into the human body where you feel real. You don't have this realness, this physical, visceral realness in the other realms. It's not there. You know, as they say, it's more airy-fairy. It's more nebulous. It's not as concrete. But you don't really need it because you have something else when you're there that is more real than this physical body. That is the knowing, the Nost. I exist. That's kind of what you lose when you come into this lower reality. It's one of the things we're trying to bring. That's kind of, well, I'm not trying it anymore. We did. But one of the reasons we created this, you could say, this experiment that was Earth. Could we go into that reality, into that density, into that veil of forgetfulness, into that where you think your energy and still remember ourselves and still bring in that I exist, because it had never been done before. To bring in that I am, that your knowingness, your Nost, your wisdom, your soul into this, because it's this physical reality is so distracting. You have those 5 common senses that tell you what is real and what is not. Even as a child, you're told this phone, this is real, it's solid. You're just playing pretend. It's your imaginary friend. It's make-believe. It's a daydream. The other realms are dismissed as just being made up. And then we say, oh, they're made up in here, in the mind. Then you believe it, and then it is so. Then you think, because you could say the other realms are actually more real than this reality, because they're more true. There's no resistance, and resistance isn't really true. It's a half-truth. So you could say this realm isn't very real at all because of all the resistance, because it's not the truth of who you are. Because the truth of you are has no resistance whatsoever. So the more resistance you add to things is the lesser of what you are. Of your truth, of your true nature. Very interesting energies to breathe into. So we're bringing that consciousness, that airy-fairiness in a way, that nebulous, that non-physical into the physical. And right now we're doing it through the human. We're bringing it into the human. In the future, there's There's creation itself. There's all the energy to integrate. But right now, it's just the experience. Ooh, the journey's ahead. Exciting times. But that is what's happening. You're bringing both together. You can see it in your chakra systems as well. It's kind of symbolized in there. I say chakra systems aren't real. They're half-truths. Because the only reason you have the chakras is because you have resistance. You have limitation. You've created that because you have resistance. You hold things back. You can say the crown chakra, that nos, that knowingness that comes in there, that higher self, some people call it the I exist. You think you're the body, you think you're the mind. That causes a resistance in the higher self. You can't bring it in because you think it's out there. You believe God is out there, I'm just a human. When the truth is, I am that I am. I am God also. It's not out there, it's within. So that causes a restriction. There you go, get a chakra. Third eye, you believe that imagination, the other realms, the exploration into the non-physical, that's all make-believe, made up, not real. Not real. It's invention of the mind. There you go. You got a chakra there now. Now your throat chakra, that's where it symbolizes expression, truth, your authentic self, expressing itself. Well, you've got your authentic selves that are being blocked up here, so of course that's going to be blocked up. Then you have the lower chakras, you have the physical chakras. Those chakras mostly of the human energy, that lower vibrational energy. You have your root chakra, which is the lowest vibration, which is usually called the earth chakra. The grounding chakra is what grounds you into this planet. Because this is a physical planet. It's what keeps you in the body, what keeps you in here in the physicalness. You have your emotional centers and things in here in the gut and that you're blocking because you have guilt, you have shame, you don't love yourself, you don't have compassion for yourself. These all cause blockages. And you have the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the true chakra. It's the center chakra. So you think they seem to talk about chakra as if you're going to come out and leave through the head. But there is a communication that goes back and forth. But you have to go back to that old Hermetic teaching. Everything is two. Everything is dual. If there's a wave of energy out, there has to be a wave of energy in. It's bottom up and it's top down. They meet in the center of the cross. It's that, the Rosicrucian called it it's the rose of the cross. It's the rosy cross. It's the heart of the cross. It's the singularity where everything comes together. It meets in the center. So once you get out of the mind, you stop thinking you're just a human, you open up you start expressing your authentic self. You get rid of all that shame and guilt and things. You stop feeling bad about being human and all that other crap. Those chakras open up. In other words, they go away. There's no restriction in the flow anymore. Everything meets in the center. You have the physical lower vibrations and the higher vibrations all come together in a singularity. In a nice, beautiful breath. And then you express, not from here or there or anywhere else, you just express everything through the heart. You don't have a shame of being human anymore, of being physical. You don't have you're not resisting the divine part of you either. You just open yourself up to that expansion. You allow energies to come freely and openly into you, to serve you. There's no restriction. You have the physical, yes, but you have the non-physical. And they start to commingle and commune with each other. And that's when magic happens. That's where miracles happen. It's where water is turned to wine, where you can float. One of the key things to remember about those things, you will never be able to do them until you don't care about it anymore, until it's not important. It's kind of how it works, because as long as it's important to you, as long as you care about doing it, you're always going to try to force it, you're always going to try to push it. And that just, more in this reality, the more you push, the more resistance you get. You stop trying to do it, and you just allow it to happen. You allow that commingling of low vibration and high vibration to commune, to be together, to be that, as the Rosicrucians called, that chemical wedding. I love that book, The Chemical Wedding. One of my favorite books. You don't have to read it. It's just, out of all my human lifetimes, if I could say my favorite book, it was that. The Chemical Wedding. It's by Rosa Christian. Interesting book. Very symbolized. You can't think about that book. If you think about that book, it'll become way too complicated. You really have to be out of your mind to understand that book. That's the beauty of it. You think Alice in Wonderland is strange. Give that one a try. Just for fun. Don't try to learn anything, but you think it, don't effort at it. Don't try to read the book to learn anything. Just read it for the enjoyment of it, for the passion of it. Because then it's not work. Then it's just you're having fun. If you feel like reading a chapter and you don't feel like reading it anymore, that's fine. I don't really care for it. I don't have a passion for this. Let it go. If you want to skip to the end of that, do whatever. Be multidimensional. You don't have to be so linear. Oh, I enjoy life. Because life is a joy. Why wouldn't you enjoy it? Especially when I'm in the expression of the I exist. Nothing better than expressing your true self, your true nature. No higher joy than that. Being the authentic self, which is simply being compassion, acceptance, and gratitude. Everything else is just fun, made up, an act of consciousness. I think we're going to end the video today. It was very enjoyable. As always, I am that I am, an embodied master in service. And truly enjoying it. Thank you.